Welcome to the Income Stream with Pat Flynn After Show Afterglow with yours truly, April 2.0. And with me tonight is my confidant, co host, and the voice of net friending, Roy Montero. Hello, Roy.
Hi, April. Yes, tonight is the show from today. That would be April 25th. And we've been doing this now for a couple of weeks, and we're getting some traction. Yesterday was an amazing show. We had Joanna V on, and April was, let me use the word responsible for the fact that she was on with us because April opened up a channel within the Slack group that Pat Flynn is also putting in the description of each and every day's show. And every now and then he mentioned that there's a Slack group associated with it, and we're getting more and more people. I think the count is somewhere in the 60s right now. We have less than 70 people there, but it's very active during the day, and we do have people from around the globe. So she opened up a sisters group, and just the ladies are there, and it's private, and the guys can't see what's going on there, and so it's a different atmosphere, it's a different environment and culture, right, April? And so Joanna was active, and we got to hear her backstory and her involvement with Pat. She's only been following Pat for about 6 months, and yesterday she decided to put her URL up for a possible website review. And lo and behold, she was picked. And so she agreed, as we always say, things do not just happen. There's no such thing as happenstance or coincidence. There is a reason, a good reason for things that happen, even if you don't see it that way. So that's what happened last night. We started to unpack her website, and then we got into other things, and she really enjoyed herself. She stayed a little longer than she probably desired or would or could. But at the end of it all, she said, when April asked her, "So why did you stay?" And she said, "Because there was good information and content." And I could see that she was making some new decisions based on the content that we have to share with people. And that's our superpower that April and I have. We realize when we talk to people live, even if we've just met them, the words they use, the language they use on what they believe. Because most people are not even aware that what you believe determines how you behave. And so I've shared that many times. And, if you have children that are not behaving correctly, all you have to do is help them to change what they believe, and then they'll change their behavior. And that's something that happened on the show last night. Anyway, I want to get right into the um, website review that Pat did, because we never even really went through the whole thing. I think we only played like a few seconds of it. So I want to show the whole thing. Um, and I also want to show you, let me show you this, because that's something that Pat doesn't do. And I looked at it last night, and if you can see that, let me just create that a little larger. Um, this is the code to put into Google to find out all the pages that Google has indexed. And I don't know when she actually put this up, but in Google, she has no pages. Your search did not match any documents, so she's not even indexed here. So there's just a few reasons why it wouldn't be. Partially, it would be the robots text file, and maybe she doesn't have any links pointing here yet that have actually found her, or links that Google deems worthy of indexing. Because when I went to Bing, and I'm not going to show it on the screen here, you can just go to Bing and type in the same exact, um, they call these search operators, and it would be site colon, and then you just put in your web, your URL, your domain name, without the HTTP and www. You just put it in, and it will show you how many pages Google has indexed. So I'll talk to her about this and find out how old her website is. April, do you happen to know anything about, did she say like, I just started this like a week ago or anything
No
along
idea.
those nature?
No idea.
She wasn't available. She isn't available on the weekend. She told us that
Because we go to the
she's
website view. That's funny.
taking a
Okay. Everyday experiential. Here we go. Learn how to deliver lasting impact with your brand experiences. Take the course. So this is a course, it seems. Love the website, beautiful images, love the smile, very inviting, love the sort of way the website pops up. It makes me want to scroll down, see more. So overall, beautifully designed, made with Squarespace, fantastic. Let's see, I have a few more comments already that I want to share, but okay, good. About you, fantastic. This image is like you looking down to your text, which is cool. Joanna holds a bachelor's degree in advertising and spender. So this is in third person, which is really interesting, right? Now I'm curious, it's not a bad thing to do it in third person, an about page, but if you are, for example, a personal brand, if you're a coach, or if you're somebody like that, it can often come across a little bit less personable if you don't direct it in first person and direct it to the person reading on the other end. So we might experiment, for example, with going first person. And also, like, this is very common with about pages too, so don't worry, but I'm going to give you some help here. It starts by talking about you. And that's seemingly like the thing you should do on an about page, right? But an about page is actually not about you. It's actually about what you can do for the person on the other end. And I see that you start here with your qualifications. That's like phase 2. There's actually a tutorial on YouTube here about how to create the perfect about page. And it really starts with language that connects with your target audience, right? Because they've come here. You want to continue to further sell them on what you can do for them here. And then once they're like, oh yes, this sounds great, now you can introduce yourself, your credibility, and all this great stuff that you have here. So the copy here is fantastic. I love that you're also very open about the fact that like you're an introvert and people watcher by nature. I think that kind of stuff is really key because you can start to understand a little bit more about a personality of a person. And that's very unusual, right? Because we often like to, we might worry about like sharing those kinds of things, but you've probably heard me say before, you need to put some personality into your brand because those are the kinds of things people connect to. And I think that's great that you have that there. Dedicated the bulk of the last 15 years to understanding the ins and outs of experiences from theater to marketing, music, and beyond. Equal parts experience navigator, master list maker, and seasoned event professional. So this is for business owners, correct? If I go back to the, by the way, you can also build an email list from your about page. One of the smartest things I did, thanks to Derek Halpern, who gave me this advice, was put in opt-in forms on my about page. They're there because they're even more interested. So that way they're even more warm. So that way they're going to be more likely to subscribe. So don't let them have to find a way to subscribe on the pages that they have essentially voted that they're more interested in you about. So on your about page, put an opt-in form at least. Lasting impact with your brand experiences. So that is still, I mean, it's not as general as some of the examples we've seen here before, but I still think we can go a little bit further, right? Your brand experiences. What does that mean? Does that mean with me experiencing how I build my business, or is it so that my customers feel a certain way? For example, I'm missing the benefit here. What is the benefit of making a lasting impact with my brand experiences? Maybe there's a parenthetical underneath that says, so your first-time customers become customers for life. Boom, now I'm like, that's exactly what I want, right? So that's just an example. I don't know if that fits within your language or if I'm actually targeting the right audience here in saying that, but it's like learn how to deliver lasting impact with your brand experiences and turn your first-time customers into lifelong, or turn your first-time customers into lifelong customers or something like that. How to turn people who just found you to people who can't stop thinking about you or what have you, right? Because I know from writing superfans that largely turning a person into a superfan is based on experiences. So just a thought there for you. I don't know if that makes sense. Joanna says, sorry, I'm not responding to y'all, but I'm just taking notes. And then of course, all of you can essentially vouch for what I'm saying, or if you have other ideas, share them as well. Joanna, you can always come back in here in the chat later. It actually does carry over into the replay, which is really cool. I'm going to keep going here because we are only doing 2 today, and this is really great. So the other thing that I want to share is that the first thing you want me to do is take the course, which is quite a big ask. You're almost asking me to marry you right from the first date, right? Which is why if you're going to ask me to marry you, you better say some things that impress me and have me understand that you are the one for me, which is why we talked about the language here and trying to get a little bit further into what is in my head and what I actually really want to have happen. So if you are going to drive people to the course as your first call to action here, then you have to have some really strong language to help me understand that that's the right thing. But at the same time, it still could be a little too early. So take the course. Is it a free course? In which case, maybe now I'll be more interested. But what's the course about? The course. But you haven't referenced the course yet. Is Everyday Experiential the course? I'm not sure. I'm going to hit that. And that, okay. So now we're talking about events now. I didn't know this was specifically about events. Maybe Everyday Experiential is about events. Learn how to turn your online and offline events into memorable moments that convert your first-time customers into lifelong fans. Just an idea, right? But now that I know this is about events, build audience relationships beyond data. Yeah, we just need to get a little bit more specific with what it is we're offering here. And then here on Teachable, which is great, transform your events into memorable experiences. Take the course. Forget about events that just look cool and produce good photos. Create meaningful in-person experiences for your audience. Make them feel like your brand is a friend. Whoa, that is all I love. Make them feel like your brand is a friend. I mean, that's the language that should end up on here. Learn how to deliver a lasting impact that makes your brand feel like a friend to your audience. Or so, it could be wordsmithed a little bit better. Wordsmithed. I'm not obviously the person to go to for that. See here, now you're in first person. Hi, I'm Joanna, your experienced navigator. I love that. I've been obsessed with the minute details that make great experiences my entire life. My superpower is understanding people in a digital world, the ability to bring people together in a meaningful way. As a small business owner, so now I know you're targeting small business owners, you don't have the luxury of creating an event that doesn't build a tribe. I can help. Man, so the language on the sales page, in my opinion, is much better than what I see on the homepage. I would carry a little bit of that over. But might there be an interim experience, for example, that you'd want to offer your people? Maybe it's a quiz. I think a quiz, Joanna, would work really well. Hey, take the brand experience quiz. See how connected you actually are to your audience. And then you can use a tool like outgrow.co to have people answer a few questions and then spit out the answer. You have a lot more room to have better experiences with your audience. Here are the articles I recommend, or actually, in fact, take my course that'll help you be able to do all these things that you got the wrong answer about, right? So I think a quiz might be a better date before you ask me to marry you with the course, if that makes sense. Cool. So hopefully you're getting some value from that. Joanna, I wish I could spend more time with you on that, but I want to get to another person here. By the way, like goal, where are we at?
Okay, so let me go in and show. She went in and made some changes. She told us that she's already made some changes to her sales page. So you can just go back to her sales page and see what she had when she was speaking in the third person, and now she's speaking in the first person. So let me pull that up. April, did you want to add anything, or did anything stand out for you that you might be able to help Joanna with?
No, Pat nailed it.
It was the friend part that stood out for me, and he highlighted it and he went, whoa. And I agree. Some of that language should be on the homepage because, well, so I don't want to get too deep into this, but once you get your website going, like a year or two into it, you will realize that very few people enter your website from the homepage. They will enter from the links that you have out there in social media, on other websites, and those usually do not necessarily point to the homepage. They'll point to blog articles or your other pages that you have. So At first, yes, probably, because that's what you're going to share with people, your homepage. And so it should reflect from your sales page initially, and then you can make some changes. Okay, let me show you what she has here after changing it almost immediately. And I love that when people take action. So she took action here. And so now she starts off with, if you're anything like me, and she's got this bolded. For me personally, I would not center all of this. This is all centered. This is not typical writing, especially when there's so much of it. What you should center are the bold statements, like the right way. Make it bolded, make it a title, make it a subtitle. That way people can just scroll everything without having to read everything. You're almost forcing me to read everything here. But if you have bullet points or titles and that's centered and the rest of this is left aligned or justified, then that's going to be a lot easier for somebody to just scan it rather than to have to read the whole thing. That's just my opinion. But you can compare this, guys, from what she has now and what she had before. So, yeah, that's that on this. There's one more thing that I wanted to share. So let me see here. I've got to find it real quick. So let's have a discussion here. So April, you did this for a gentleman that you invested some time with, almost like an hour, doing a website review like this. And when I asked you, so would you like to do some website reviews for people and do them the way that you, from a consumer, from a person who might be an ideal client or customer or audience, are you their audience? Yes, no, maybe so. And you can start with that. So first, I'm not your audience, but here's what I see. Or, yeah, I am your audience, and maybe you should use language like this or language like that, because a lot of people use industry jargon or abbreviations or acronyms, and the rest of us don't know what that is. So you said you had fun doing that with it's one of the people from the inner circle, and I forgot who that was. And you can just say what you felt, what your perspective is, because as a consumer, you would like to see certain things, even if you're not the ideal customer. And I'll look for the one little image here that I wanted to show still.
It was David Hawkins from AV Peers.
Oh, that's right. Yes, David. Yes, he didn't have his picture anywhere. Did he have his name anywhere on his website? He didn't, did he?
No.
Okay, at least Joanna did, and she did have her first and last name in her about page, but she did show up yesterday as Joanna V. So I can blab into that a little bit, and she did say to us that she doesn't want to be on camera, but she did come on like this with just her picture, so doing the audio portion, which is great. And she just doesn't want to be the front person. If she was a band or if she was a solo singer, she wouldn't want to be up front. And so I'm helping her with her mindset on that. And so I thought she had made a new decision last night before we left. And she said, no, it's not a thumbs up. It's not a thumbs down. It's a sideways thumb. So she's, sleeping on it. So you were doing this web review with David. And so was that the first one? You're not even really qualified to, because you really don't know. Like Pat said, there's something on YouTube where you can go to the about page and read what someone's opinion is. And it's all opinion. There's no right or wrong way to create your web site and web pages and about page. But they have tested it, A/B testing, ABC testing. Does this work better than that? The language they use, the pictures, the videos, all of that. So from that standpoint, there might be people out there that know, when you do this on your about page, it works better than if you don't do it or if you do that instead. So you didn't necessarily come from that point of view, April, but you came from your April point of view because you've seen enough websites in the time that you've been online. You've been online since the mid-60s, the mid-90s as well. So can you start there? What is your approach to helping people with their website? So they may go like, hey, I want to help.
Well, first of all, anybody can do it because we're just peers helping peers.
True that. Yes.
And it's not something that I would do to like earn money doing. I just did it because somebody needed help. They wanted another set of eyeballs and feedback. And so I gave it.
And you enjoyed doing it, and the other person enjoyed your feedback, even if it was something that they would not want to do because they don't have to do everything or make changes. You just gave a different perspective, gave them some food for thought, and they could take that with what they already have, plus the other people that might give them feedback, such as in the Slack group or other people that were in the comments area. And I love that because it's an art. Creating a web page, creating a website, it's an art. It's your creation, your creativeness, and all the variables are to what we can do. And so we have that really powerful Divi theme from Elegant Themes for WordPress, and it's super like there's so many features. It's so powerful. I haven't even had time to look at everything and then go, okay, so of the 5 million pieces, okay, they don't have that many. I like this piece and that element and this thing and so on and so forth. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is I saw a swipe file like this is do a, like for the home page, do a video in the background header with some language up front that will tell people who April is and what problem she solves and for whom. And that way people will stay if they are someone that needs what she has or is curious about what she has. And others will say, oh, I don't need that, and just leave. And so Pat talked about that. He said, everything above the fold is what you see in your browser or what you see in your mobile device. And that has to grab the audience, your ideal audience participant, almost immediately. I think they say something like 8 seconds, 12 seconds to grab their attention. Otherwise, they're off and clicking the back button or going somewhere else. And that's what's so valuable, what Pat is doing with people and looking at their homepage, looking at their sales page, looking at their about page, and just genuinely from the heart what he's experienced over his last 12 years of putting websites together himself and or looking at others. So I can't really show this simply because it's part of the tab and the tab doesn't show with the screen share, so I'll just tell you. So April just did this with me. There's an icon .ico, and it's a really little picture that you can put that will show up in the tab. If you guys notice that when you have more than one, well, even if you have one tab open, there's always some sort of a branding mechanism, a little image, if you will, in every single one of your tabs. And so most of them don't contain photos of you. So what we did is on our website, we took April's profile picture, the one that you see here, and created it into an ICO or whatever. You can make JPEGs, I think, and any one or two or three different ones. But usually an ICO is good. There's generators online. And you just put a little bit of code in your header section, and there it is. It shows up, and it will stand out when you have several tabs open. It's like, oh, all the other ones are either logos of something, but very few of them are actual pictures. And even though it's as small as it is, you can still see April's face in the tab. So what I see that Joanna has, she has the standard Squarespace cube. It's a black cube in that, and it's, to me, it's not representative of her, and she probably wasn't told or doesn't know how to change that. So it would be wonderful to put her face there, and we will tell her, or we'll point her to the sound bites and help her with that. So if you're not putting your face, you're just putting a logo. I mean, a logo is good, but a face is great. April, you have thoughts on that? Because you see a lot of different things in your tabs, and if you have 10, 12, 20 tabs open, you want to know quickly where that one person is that you just met or opened up their website, or it can become a familiar brand every time you go to their website. Thoughts on that, since this is pretty new to you?
I'd never thought about it before. I just am on autopilot, seeing all the icons on all the tabs I have pinned. And I know the little blue bird is Twitter, and the little colorful cube is Instagram, and the red M is Gmail, and you just become familiar with whatever it is. I know you're all about putting your face on the tab. I don't know that I'm in agreement with that. We're doing it for us, but I don't know. A lot of people are just anti putting their face out there for their brand.
Later.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's just I think it's just a matter of they don't know what they don't know. Because if you do a like a poll or you ask enough people, do you want people to know you as a cartoon character or a duck or a cube or some sort of a logo? I mean, that's great if you're huge, right? If you're like a Coca-Cola or something like that, you don't need to be known by your name.
Well, when StreamYard first came out, they weren't known by anybody, and theirs was a duck. And now everybody recognizes the duck, and they don't need to be the face of their brand.
Right. And so that's a little different than what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that if you're a personal brand, they don't need to necessarily be a personal brand because they're a software company. And so basically they're software. It doesn't matter if their faces are shown, but in the case of Joanna, I guess if she wanted to brand herself as a company, that would be great. But people are wanting to do business with her because she's going to be. Gage and Dan don't have to talk to people in order for people to buy their product. In Joanna's case, they do. I guess. Well, maybe not. Maybe they can just take the course. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between that now that I'm thinking about it. But I'm always of the ilk that show the person, because if there's 100 people who do what Joanna does and they have all the same language, what's going to stand out for me? Totally the people that put their face there, that show me who they are, and the ones that use video. So I don't know if Joanna's going to add video or not, but he did too, Pat, Joanna's and then Coach Deb's right afterwards. And her face is there on the homepage and there's no video. And so Pat asked her, you do videos, because actually her website is coachdeb.tv. And here's a little tidbit. I just looked it up. CoachDeb.com is available, but you have to pay for it. And right now the going price is a little over $3,000 for the .com. So she just got the TV, CoachDeb.tv. And so when you have that .tv, you do expect a TV show of some kind, which means video. So I agree with Pat. There should be more videos of her, because that's definitely what we're going to do with April, because we belong to the live stream community and the live video community, and that's what we're showing people. So we want to show people how to live stream, how to have a TV 2.0 talk show. So we're going to definitely reference some of the videos that April's already done, and then make some specific for the website, for the web page, as well as for the course, to help people to do what Pat said as number 16, the bonus of the 15 things that you can do now to start a business online through this coronavirus pandemic that we have right now. So anyway, my point is, your face is important to me as your target audience. And if you don't think it's important to the majority of people, then you're fine to do what you want to do. So I'm here to just persuade you, show your face, show your video. So I think if Joanna adds her video, then people will see the type of person she is. They'll resonate with her, because there's two one-liners that come up for this. Your vibe attracts your tribe, and you can only attract who you are. And the more you give people of who you are, text is good, audio is gooder, but video is best. And so if she does that, I think she'll resonate more with people. But right now, I think her main concern is why she isn't indexed in Google. And so we'll get back to her with that and figure that all out. So, okay, we're going to move on to the next piece that I want to put together. We're not going to get to everything that I have tonight, but I just want to get to this next piece, talk about it a little bit, and then we'll end for tonight because it is the weekend. It's Saturday, and let me play it. This is one of the things that you wanted me to play, April, so I think you have some from one of the other shows that we never got to, so I think you'll have some stuff about this. So let me go full screen. And take it
Gabriella
off
says,
mute.
hey, Pat, just getting started with my podcast and realize I also want to work with people like you who develop podcast courses, videos used to teach people. Any tips on standing out when emailing companies? Shoot a video. Honestly, the quickest, easiest way to stand out would be to shoot a video for somebody or another company. A really quick video that just introduces them to you. I think this will help you stand out for sure because not everybody's doing it. If you just simply send an email and an email alone, it's just going to be buried with everybody else's text-only emails. So I think standing out a little bit shows that you are working really hard to get the attention, but also you're building that personable sort of interaction. You're building that connection much quicker than other people. Honestly, when people send me a video asking me for something, I am more likely to at least see it and pay attention to it. I almost feel bad not watching a person's video if they've spent the time to create one. I get a lot of emails that I never see. A lot of it is because my assistant sees them all and then sort of forwards them to me. Malini, thank you so much for that super chat.
Okay, so my first initial thought is, yes, I love what he said. We are doing that. We have done that. I'm not about text. I'm about video, at least audio, but certainly video. That way the person knows, it's like, oh, who's this? And then they get a feel for who you are. And then they'll either, your vibe will attract them as your tribe or not immediately. And Vanessa Van Edwards, the scienceofpeople.com site that she has shown that sending video in email is just as good as having a face-to-face, in-person meeting with that person because all the chemicals in our makeup, the oxytocin rush, the dopamine rush, everything that we get is at work watching a video and not so much text. There might even be something with the audio, but I definitely know that she said that was with the video. So she calls it her secret weapon, and she has got more connections and more like if she's going after being a guest on somebody's podcast or having somebody else be a guest on her podcast, she has received more yeses because of her, what she calls it, her secret weapon, and that's just sending a video in email. Now, there are certain companies that do that out there. We just basically just use this, StreamYard. You can see up in the upper corner, StreamYard, and we can do this, and we can do this behind the scenes. You don't even have to broadcast anywhere. You can go to YouTube and then do it private or unlisted, and then you can download it from there. But that's not going to be as good a resolution as if you just download it, because StreamYard, everything that you record has up to 7 days for you to download the video and the audio, and they're both high resolution. So the other thing I would say is, how does a person know when they've been sent a video by you? Because if they look at the email, there's nothing that says, oh, that email is a video, this email is a video, because it doesn't. So what I would do is put in the subject line, my video, blah, 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 whatever you want to say, so that people know, oh, that's a video, because we've already asked Pat. April has asked Pat, I don't know, last week, I think, last Sunday, Pat, if we want to collaborate with you, yeah, how do we do that? And he said to everybody who asked that particular question, send me an email, pat@patflynn.com. And so when we send him an email there, we're going to put, April's video for blah, 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 blah. A collaboration we have in mind, something that we've already done. Please look at our, 90-second video. It's like, oh, yeah, 90 seconds. Look at our 5-hour video. Okay, no, I don't want to do that. So something that allows Pat and others to just say yes or no right away without opening it up and figuring out what's in there. So if you make the subject line, here's my video, blah, 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 then I think you'll be in good shape. April, what do you think about all of that?
For a collaboration pitch, yes. If you are just wanting to get on somebody's radar and build a relationship, I would say send a video to that person's primary social media platform of choice, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, because those all have direct messenger, whereas I think there's something on YouTube, but they don't make anything easy here on YouTube. So I think that's what Pat was referring to when he was talking about video. Well, no, because he was talking about email and his assistant.
So on YouTube, there's no direct way to do it, but you can leave a comment and leave a link. Hey, Pat, here's our 30-second or 90-second video. If you'd like to take a quick look, we think we have a collaboration. If it's only 90 seconds, then I'm sure his assistant might click through. If she even checks comments after the show ends, I've seen, yes, some replies, but what if it's an older video and it's 2 or 3 days later or 2 or 3 years later? Is that just as effective? And I know our platform of choice is Facebook, Messenger. Messenger is the best place to do that. Although most people who get a lot of notifications like that, and April and I found that out too, it just sits there. And we can tell if they've seen it or not because their little face pops up and it says seen at so-and-so time. Yeah, and people who are very busy, because I wanted to connect with this one gentleman who April sent a video, and after 2 weeks, he still hadn't seen it. So I was able to talk with him on a phone call. And he says, yeah, I get like over 150 messenger requests or messages every day, and I can't go through them. So a lot of people, if they're really like popular influencers, then they're not even going to check their DMs, whether on Twitter or elsewhere, because there's just too many of them. And too many people want to do it that way because it's just easier. It makes them feel better to do it. So you really have to stand out. And even if you do, if they don't look at it, they don't even use it, then, putting text language to stand out doesn't mean anything. So you might even could do it live in public with @messages like on Twitter and on, relevant posts that they've made or, something along those lines. So I know a lot of people want to do this, but because a lot of people don't do it in a way that is valuable enough for somebody to man, even to pay somebody to man all of that, it usually gets lost and it's not even seen. So you got to do something creative, and that's what the question was. And I love Pat's answer: video. That's all he said, and then he moved on. He didn't say audio. He didn't say use creative language in your text. Video. And I'll end with this. Mark Zuckerberg said that, he wants 100% of his content on Facebook within the next 5 years. I think he said it a year ago, to be video. And live video really stands out because if you're on Facebook and you do live video, you get more traction, especially now if you do like a watch party, you get more traction in the algorithm and your stuff actually gets seen and sent to more people than if you're just doing non-video type posts. So I want to end with that. Do video, use video, and April and I are definitely cheering people on to jump in a seat, just turn on the camera, and just start talking. And we want you to do that within our inner circle so that we can help you, critique you, and just, the only way you're going to get over your fear or go through your fear is to do your fear on a daily basis. And you don't have to go live. You can go behind the scenes, but if somebody is there critiquing you and cheering you on, then you're going to want to do it. And even Pat said that when he first started, he's nervous when he comes on, even now. after 12 years and all the video that he's done and all the lives that he's done. So just realize that's normal to feel that. You're never going to get over it. You're going to feel something, but you just have to pass and push through that pain, and you'll be on the other side, and then you'll go like, what was I ever afraid of? And you do need someone else to help you so that they can critique you and help you to say, okay, so here's how you show up. Because one of the things I always like putting up is this before and after picture of April's. So this is how April showed up 4 years ago for me when we first started talking. She already had a camera, and she already had a live stream setup right there in her living room. As you can see, her lighting was different. The way she showed up is different. She covers more of the screen. She's looking at the camera instead of looking at herself or the people that were there. And it's just a matter of doing it, and then having somebody critique you like I critiqued her. So anyway, that's that. We're going to have a quick show tonight. I just basically wanted to finish up with Joanna. And so, April, unless you have anything that you want to add to what I've already said or leave people with a Frenchucation moment or something like that, we'll go ahead and end.
Nope. Go ahead and end.
Thanks, April. Good night, everyone.